If you are holding Iraqi dinar right now, or you've been watching the global currency conversation heat up online, then stop whatever you're doing and listen closely. What I'm about to break down today has been spreading across investment groups, private chats, and financial rumor circles at lightning speed. Many people are claiming that former President Donald Trump secretly pressured or instructed Iraq to increase the value of the Iraqi dinar by as much as 40%. Some say the order already exists behind closed doors. Others claim certain banks were quietly told to prepare, and millions of dinar holders are wondering, is this finally the moment everyone has been waiting for? Or is this just another rumor designed to stir emotions and create chaos? Today, we're going to unpack this in the clearest way possible so you understand what's real, what's speculation, and what matters for your financial future. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the full picture is much bigger than a single rumor, and you do not want to miss the final breakdown. The first thing we have to address is how a story like this even begins. Currency markets are extremely sensitive. A single statement from a politician, a central bank official, or even a leaked comment can shift prices instantly. But when the claim involves a former United States president pushing a sovereign nation to revalue its currency by a fixed percentage, the rumor takes on a completely different level of intensity. Supporters point to Trump's past comments about strong currencies, oil-backed agreements, and Middle Eastern economic reform. Critics claim the rumor is exaggerated or misinterpreted from old meetings that had nothing to do with the direct order. Yet the reason this rumor spread so aggressively is because it taps into something deeper: the belief that Iraq's currency has been undervalued for decades and that someone, somewhere, has finally pushed the button to bring it back up. Whether you believe the rumor or not, understanding the psychology behind it helps explain why it exploded overnight. Now let's break down the core question: could a former U.S. president actually push Iraq to revalue its currency by 40%? Technically, no foreign leader, past or present, can force Iraq to modify the value of its currency. Only Iraq's government and its central bank have the authority to set or adjust the official rate. However, political influence, diplomatic pressure, and economic agreements can absolutely shape a country's decisions. Throughout history, many nations have adjusted their financial policies based on international partnerships, trade deals, or geopolitical expectations. So while the idea of a secret order sounds dramatic, it is not unusual for powerful nations to encourage or pressure an ally to make certain economic moves. The real question isn't whether Trump forced anything, but whether he or his administration ever pushed discussions about stabilizing or strengthening Iraq's currency during his time in office. The next important layer is understanding why Iraq would even consider a 40% revaluation. Iraq has been working for years to stabilize its economy, boost global confidence, and modernize its financial system. A stronger currency could help reduce inflation, improve purchasing power, and expand international investment. But it could also create challenges, such as pressure on exports, budget adjustments, and foreign exchange management. The rumor of a 40% jump is exciting, but big currency moves are almost always tied to long-term strategies. Iraq depends heavily on oil revenues, and when global energy markets fluctuate, so does the strength of its economy. For any revaluation to occur, there has to be a clear economic purpose behind it, not just political pressure. So the key question becomes, does Iraq see strategic value in a revaluation right now? Let's zoom in on why this rumor gained so much traction in recent months. Currency investors around the world have been looking for any sign of movement from Iraq. They've noticed increased talk about banking reforms. They've seen updates regarding digital payment systems. They've watched international partners meeting with Iraqi officials. All of this creates a perfect environment for speculation. When people feel something big is coming, even the smallest comment becomes a huge headline. Add to that the fact that many dinar holders have been waiting for over a decade for a meaningful revalue, and suddenly every rumor feels plausible. The 40% number specifically caught fire because it feels just big enough to be exciting, but also just realistic enough to feel possible, and that combination is powerful. Now let's address the political angle clearly. Many of the people spreading this rumor say that Trump had special influence over Iraq because of previous security agreements, oil discussions, and regional partnerships. They claim that during private talks, his administration pushed Iraq to stabilize its economy quickly, partly to reduce dependency on neighboring countries and partly to strengthen Middle Eastern alliances. However, none of these claims automatically equal a direct push for a dinar revaluation. In diplomacy, economic stability is often discussed, but currency rates are rarely dictated outright. So the idea that Trump gave a numeric order, like increase the dinar by 40%, falls more into speculation than documented policy. Still, that doesn't mean conversations didn't happen about Iraq improving its financial position globally. Now let's talk about the economic mechanics behind a currency increase. A 40% revaluation means that Iraq would intentionally increase the value of the dinar relative to foreign currencies. This involves recalculating exchange rates, adjusting foreign reserves, coordinating with global banks, and managing domestic liquidity. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires technical preparation across multiple financial institutions. This is why rumors often mention banks preparing, updating systems, or running simulations. Banks frequently update their systems regardless of revaluation news, but when people see such updates happening near financial rumors, they start connecting dots, sometimes accurately, sometimes not. Understanding this helps clarify why so many stories feel believable even without official confirmation. Another major reason the rumor spread is because many investors believe Iraq is positioning itself for a new economic chapter. The country has been working on improving trade systems, strengthening reserves, and partnering with international organizations to modernize its economy. When a nation begins to show signs of economic restructuring, investors naturally expect changes to the currency. Add to this the increasing use of digital systems and financial automation inside Iraq, and you get a narrative that feels aligned with a potential revaluation. So even though the Trump order might not be factual, the underlying momentum in Iraq's economy makes people more willing to believe something major is coming. Let's shift now to what a 40% revaluation would mean for everyday dinar holders. If the dinar increased in value by that amount, it would instantly raise the purchasing power of anyone holding physical currency. For example, 1 million dinar would suddenly be worth 40% more in the global market. But here's the important part: access matters. Whenever a country adjusts its currency, there are usually stages, limits, banking procedures, and verification requirements. Not everyone is able to exchange at the same time or in the same way. In most major currency events around the world, banks handle large clients, institutions, and government-related exchanges first before opening the doors to the general public. This means that preparation is key. Now let's address something many people overlook. Even if the rumor is not accurate, it still signals something deeper. People are expecting movement. When millions of investors across the world are tuned into a single currency rumor, it reflects a shared belief that something is brewing beneath the surface. And often, even when rumors are wrong on the details, they are right about the direction. A 40% figure might be exaggerated, but the idea that Iraq is preparing for financial adjustments is not far-fetched. So instead of focusing entirely on the rumor, smart holders should pay attention to the pattern of developments happening inside Iraq's financial sector. Next, let's explore how major global banks handle situations like this. Banks do not casually prepare for revaluations unless they have reason to expect policy changes. But they do frequently update their systems for routine maintenance, technology upgrades, compliance checks, and security improvements. These updates sometimes get mistaken for RV preparation. However, in some cases, banks genuinely do prepare quietly before large financial changes. The reason is simple: they cannot afford system errors during high-value currency movements. So when investors hear about banks testing systems, it fuels speculation, even though in many cases it's unrelated to the actual revaluation timeline. It is also important to understand the difference between a true revaluation and a controlled adjustment. A full revaluation is a deliberate jump in currency value. A controlled adjustment is a smaller shift designed to stabilize markets or reflect inflation levels. Many economists believe Iraq may gradually adjust its rate rather than implement a massive one-time jump. Others believe Iraq might go for a single strong increase to boost confidence immediately. This is why the 40% number keeps getting repeated. It represents a meaningful but not extreme adjustment. And that balance keeps the rumor alive. Now let's examine whether the timing even makes sense. Iraq has been working to modernize its financial sector, strengthen reserves, and build partnerships that support long-term stability. These are all signs of a country preparing for economic upgrades. Timing matters because a currency revaluation requires international cooperation, domestic readiness, and political alignment. If Iraq feels its infrastructure is strong enough, then a revaluation could be strategically beneficial. If not, delays are expected. So the question is not whether someone like Trump pushed Iraq. It's whether Iraq sees this as the right moment for a major adjustment. Another important angle is the role of international negotiations. Iraq holds discussions with major economic partners regularly, including the United States. These talks often involve topics like currency stability, trade, banking systems, digital integration, and economic reform. While none of these discussions confirm a revaluation, they contribute to the belief that something is happening behind the scenes. When rumors collide with real economic developments, people start assuming the rumor must be true. But these assumptions can be risky unless backed by confirmed policy changes. Let's move into the psychological side of this rumor. Many dinar holders have waited years for meaningful movement. They've seen predictions fail, rates remain unchanged, and rumors come and go. This long wait creates emotional tension. When a rumor appears that feels stronger or more dramatic, it gives people hope, and hope spreads faster than facts. This is why the Trump rumor gained so much traction. It wasn't just about numbers or policy. It was about people wanting to believe the moment had finally arrived. Understanding this psychology is crucial, because investors who act based on emotion instead of strategy often make costly mistakes. Now let's look at what a smart investor should do when rumors intensify. The first step is always organization. Know how much dinar you have, keep records of your purchase, and understand your goals. Whether the revaluation is big, small, slow, or sudden, organized investors always benefit more because they are ready when the window opens. The second step is staying calm. Emotional decisions, panic selling, rushing to exchange, or acting on unverified posts lead to regret. The third step is patience. Currency changes take time. Even if Iraq has plans to adjust the rate, the process is never instant. Being prepared mentally and financially prevents mistakes. Let's take a moment to discuss taxes because they matter more than people realize. If the dinar ever revalues in any meaningful way, tax authorities will treat gains as taxable income in many countries. This means record keeping is essential. Consulting a tax professional before any major exchange is not optional, it's smart planning. The last thing anyone wants is to face penalties or pay more tax than necessary simply because they didn't prepare properly. Even a moderate increase in value could create a significant tax event for large holders. Being ready protects your gains. Privacy is another major factor that investors must take seriously. When rumors become widespread, people often start sharing their holdings, plans, or expectations publicly. This can attract unwanted attention from scammers, opportunists, or cyber threats. Keeping your financial plans private is not about secrecy, it's about safety. Wealth requires protection. When movement happens, whether now or years from now, privacy will be one of your strongest assets. Now let's break down what a revaluation, if it ever happens, will likely look like. Iraq would coordinate with its central bank, commercial banks, international partners, and digital platforms. There would be stages for exchanges, limits on daily or weekly transactions, and verification requirements for anyone exchanging large amounts. Banks would need to ensure compliance, monitor fraud, and manage liquidity. This means the process will be controlled, not chaotic. And those who prepare ahead of time will move more smoothly through the system. We also need to talk about the possibility that the rate could change gradually. Not every revaluation is sudden. Sometimes countries slowly increase their currency to test the market, evaluate stability, and adjust economic policies. This scenario is just as important to consider because many investors expect an instant, dramatic jump. Being open to a gradual increase allows you to plan more realistically and avoid disappointment. Gradual shifts can still create meaningful gains, they just happen over a longer timeline. Now let's answer the biggest question clearly: did Trump personally push Iraq to revalue the dinar by 40%? The honest answer is that there is no confirmed evidence of a numeric directive. But it is possible that discussions about Iraq's economic stability took place, just like they do in every administration. The rumor likely grew from fragments of real conversations mixed with speculation. Whether true or not, the takeaway is the same: Iraq controls its currency, and any revaluation will be based on economics, not secret political orders. As we reach this point in the video, it's important to focus on what matters most. Rumors are exciting. They create momentum. They give people hope. But the real power lies in preparation, not speculation. Whether Iraq revalues next month, next year, or gradually over time, the people who benefit most will be those who are calm, organized, educated, and ready for any outcome. This is how smart investors operate. The final message today is simple: stay informed, stay patient, and avoid emotional reactions. A rumor, whether true or false, does not change the fundamentals. Iraq is still modernizing its financial system. Banks are still upgrading globally. Investors are still watching closely. Movement is still possible. But your strategy, your preparation, and your mindset will determine your success far more than any rumor ever will. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. Your financial future depends on informed decisions, and I'm here to help you navigate every step of the way.